Opal Towers Insurance scare. Let's have a look. Good evening everyone, Florian Heise here, Stein in hand, and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. I thought tonight we'd talk about the Opal Tower insurance scare and the impact that the Opal Tower fiasco is having on off-the-plan sales. What do you think? What type of impact do you think the real estate agents are going to tell us in their secret tips on the news that's going out to everyone? Let me know in the comments before I get to it. But we'll look at this article from the Financial Review from Sue Lin Tan. So Opal Tower builder agrees to pay $1.7 million insurance. The builder of Sydney's Opal Tower, Icon, has agreed to pay most of the tower's $2 million insurance premium, saving owners from a potential second evacuation from the defective building. It is understood the confidential $1.7 million deal was struck after several letters of demand were sent to Icon. Owners were due to meet on Tuesday night for an extraordinary general meeting that would likely have seen them vote against raising a special levy for the increased premium. So the builder didn't do it out of the goodness of their heart. Letters of demand were sent to them. I wonder why their insurance has gotten so high. The EGM was cancelled a week ago after Icon agreed to negotiate, but it was called again on Tuesday night because of concerns a deal was not in sight and as the due date for payment of August 10th loomed. Without building insurance, it will be illegal for owners to occupy the building under the Strata Schemes Management Act, and crucially, it would also be financially risky for the owner's corporation, lawyers said. A further evacuation and other financial fallouts could happen. So this is where, how can people occupy? Like in Sydney, you have people occupying apartment buildings for a decade on an interim classification, just a temporary bridging classification. How can they occupy a building and get insurance if there's fire compliance issues? Can someone please let me know in the comments how the hell that's possible? Okay, because honestly, the insurance companies, they control a lot of what people do just simply because they protect you from liability and risk. I'm surprised they're taking on that risk. If there's fire defects in the building, what could happen? It could increase the risk. Maybe their premiums are higher. Maybe they haven't thought about it. Let me know what you think, guys, because I don't understand. I don't understand how they can get away with it. So, Opal Tower's new building insurance premium is about 20 times higher than last year's premium as a result of the defects in the building, which are still being repaired. 20 times higher. That is a hell of a cost of living increase, isn't it? I wonder how much more we're going to see of this on all of these defective buildings. What about all the buildings that have fire cladding? You need to inform your flammable cladding if your cladding is at risk. If you're in one of those buildings, you need to inform your insurer of it. Because if there's a risk to the building and you don't inform them of it, what do you think will happen? Oh, sorry, you're in breach. Oh, sorry, we can only pay you this much because you didn't inform us of these issues. You know that letter that you signed or that document that you signed? You're in breach of the Oaths Act now. I'm sure it's not an oath, but you know what I mean. So, independent New South Wales government investigations found there were non-compliant construction and structural designs at the tower, particularly surrounding the assembly of pre-cast fabricated concrete beams on several floors of the 36-level 392 apartment tower, which was completed last August. I need a coffee with this one. 20 times. Icon has borne the brunt of the crisis and has made reparations as well as paid millions in temporary lodging expenses for owners. And so it should, because all the subbies doing the precast are their responsibility. The claim for the insurance premium is separate to the class action lawsuit the owners filed against the New South Wales government last Friday. The class action involves rent and valuation losses, costs and damages suffered by owners after they were spectacularly evacuated on Christmas Eve after the building cracked. The plight of the tower's owners highlights irrevocable and unfolding problems that can damage a defective tower's reputation and livability, as the building crisis in New South Wales and Australia continues. Well, yes, I think referring to it as a building crisis is very accurate. It's very accurate. We're going to see more and more of it. New South Wales is in the throes of undertaking reforms in the building industry, making plans to adopt regulations recommended by the Shergold-Weir report, commissioned by the Building Ministers Forum last year, although many decried the inadequacies of the reform. Yes, I think it will be inadequate. I think we fundamentally need to look at the way we procure these buildings. I think any building that people live in, design and construct, shouldn't be allowed. I think, sadly, the relationship between the builder and the certifier, there's too much potential for a conflict of interest there. There's too much potential. We need to change the way it's procured. So, in recent months, owners in other defective buildings have opted to evacuate, including residents at Mascot Towers, who were plagued by cracked walls, water damage, and fire hazard. Opted or were forced. Some of them were forced. It is not known how Opal Towers will pay the rest of the $2 million insurance premium not covered by Icon. So there you go. There's the continuing saga at Opal Towers, where essentially the builder was forced to pay for the insurance premium because pretty much it appears they're responsible, or they're decommitting liability and rectifying the work, and that's incurred a increase in their costs. So it's fair and reasonable. But here's where you'd think, guys, you think this would make a difference to someone's desire to purchase off the plan. But have I got a hot tip for you guys from REB? Opal Tower fiasco unlikely to dent off the plan sales. Agent tips, okay? The agents are letting us know this secret, just between you and me. Okay, don't spread the word. Because I mean, this is. Can anyone take this seriously? Can anyone? You know. So, owners of Sydney's. I'm getting tired. Owners of Sydney's Opal Tower development have launched a class action against the state government after being forced out of their homes and unable to rent or sell their properties. But buyers' agents say the case is unlikely to dent the sales value of reputable off-the-plan developments. Okay, sure. We can live in a fantasy world. We can live in a fantasy world. Like you would not be going to the developer and saying, well, you know, there's no market for this, it's falling, there's crap everywhere, you know, I'm not buying off the plan, guaranteed it. Maybe that's just my personality coming through. Documents lodged with the New South Wales Supreme Court revealed residents were suing the government-controlled... Yep, we know about this. We'll skip on. So, will it be harder to sell new builds now? While the case could act as a precedent for other structurally faulty apartment buildings in Sydney, CBD-based agent Joseph Fairchild of Metro Realty said it was unlikely to significantly suppress demand for new apartments as long as buyers stuck to reputable developers. Really? Really? I mean, well, he has to say that, doesn't he? Of course he has to say that. It's his whole business. He can't say the opposite. He's not free to in public. It would destroy his whole brand, and everyone will get on him. So, I mean, am I right there? What do you guys think? It seems ludicrous to make this statement that it won't significantly suppress demand. It will for off-plan purchasing. I mean, we don't have the same amount of foreign investment as we had before. If you look at projects like Crown or Lend-Lease's Darling Square, these are very credible developers with no issues whatsoever that we have sold properties in recently. I've not had one client ask me about structural issues or whether they were going to collapse. Well, those are very specific questions. They should be asking about defects. They should be asking if it's how the building was procured. Was it design and construct? Was it traditional procurement? Was there a clerk of works on site? Is the developer willing to sign a personal guarantee to ensure that there'll be no defects that force me to move out of my house within a year? Is it a $1 flame company that will disappear, a Phoenix company? You know, those are the type of questions I would ask. Of course it's not going to collapse. I mean, come on, guys. Well, it better bloody well not in Australia. He added that buyer demand for new apartments was actually picking up following recent cuts to interest rates, and that there was still a solid market for quality, well-located, off-the-plan properties. So, off-the-plan properties. Maybe I should just sell some plans. We are having no issues with selling off the plan. In fact, there is more demand in the market than a month ago, Mr. Fairchild said. That's so long as it is from a credible developer that doesn't use dodgy contractors and really thinks about creating a community around the development rather than making quick money and getting out of there. Okay. It's spin. This has to be spin. This can't be real. It has to be spin. Because, who do you think are the subbies on this job as on the next job? And what's the difference between the developer with the way they procure the buildings, with the way they construct the buildings? I mean, just saying this is obvious. I'm lost for words. This is obvious real estate spin. Guys, let me know what you think about it in the comments. Do you think it will affect off-the-plan purchasing? Because if it bloody well should. Because if it doesn't, then our country's in a lot of trouble. We got stupids way too high. Anyway, guys, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.